Hi, Dan Ihrke from DT Systems and Green Acres Sportsman's Club here with DT the dog, and we're here at the kind of the adolescence time frame in our training. The dog is going between puppy training and formal training, so we've got our choke collar and our e-collar on the dog, and we're also going to be utilizing this DT Systems check cord. One of the games / drills that we can play with our dog when we're feeding is something called football casting. And for football casting, you'll need to have several dishes. I've got 3 dishes here. And you'll have to have your food, or you can use treats if you just want to do it at a different time than you do your normal feeding. Prerequisite is your dog has to understand waiting to be fed. Sit. DT. Good boy. And once you've got your dog able to do that, sit. Then we'll begin to actually cast him to the food bowl. So I'm going to have my dog out in front of me, facing me, and we'll call that the remote position. So the dog will be in the remote position, and we'll place the food bowl to one side of the dog. We'll place the treat in the bowl. If at any time he begins to try to break towards the food prematurely, we'll stop and start over. So if he accidentally prematurely went to the food, I'll stop him and we'll start over the process. Sit. Good. Now, when you first start this, your dog is not going to naturally be looking at you. He's going to be looking at the food bowl. So how do we get him to look at us? Very simply, we use our leash, our choke collar, and treat in combination. So if he looks at the bowl, we say sit, and we bring a treat down to his face. Now in the beginning, he won't look at you that easily. He doesn't really trust. He's going to be more focused on where he thinks he can get the food. So we'll do this maneuver again. Sit. Good. We can incorporate our sit whistle with this as well. Good. And we do this enough times until the dog actually starts consistently looking up. Once we get him consistently looking up when he hears the sit command, sit. Good. Then we cast him. Notice my hand position, low, right there, the solar plexus there, and I'm going to move my right hand over like this. Good. And if the dog is used to going on their name, you might actually have to say their name in the beginning. Sit. So they trust that it's okay to go. Heel. Sit. Sit. DT. Good. Good. Sit. Good. Once your dog understands going one way for the food, simply place the bowl on the opposite side. Sit. Sit. DT. Good boy. Okay. Once your dog has this simple step understood, then you're going to actually go to 2 bowls. Sit. You put 1 bowl on either side of the dog. And you'll have the treats in your hand. You'll simply place a treat in one of the bowls, come back. If he's looking at you, you can cast him. If he's not, sit. You can go through a sit with a pull-up on the collar and a treat. Sit. DT. Now, if he goes the wrong way, that's okay. That's part of the learning process. But what do we do if he goes the wrong way? We stop him with our leash, start over. If you ever have trouble in any step in dog training, folks, do what I refer to as the 4 S's. Stop, simplify, set up a new dog training experience, and succeed. Stop, simplify, set up, and succeed. After your dog becomes very confident with this procedure, and you see that he's literally moving very quickly to the bowl upon seeing your hand motion, then you can start doing the back procedure. Sit. Going to put the bowl slightly behind the dog. Not really far, but just slightly behind, like a 45-degree angle behind him. And watch the difference in the way that I cast my hand. Back. Good dog. And of course, sit. And of course, we'll do the opposite side as well. Sit. Good boy. Sit. The better your dog becomes at this part, the further back behind him, the more of an angle that you should present. Sit. Eventually, the dog will be able to differentiate between a right back and a left back, so it's important that he turns the right way when we cast him. So you'll notice that the bowl is offset, and so am I, such that he's more likely to turn the way I want him to. Back. Good boy, DT. Good boy. Sit. Good boy, good boy. Sit. Good boy. Now we'll work on food bowl lining. Casting, which is what we just worked on, is when the dog is in a remote position and he receives a hand signal to direct him in a particular direction. When we're doing food bowl lining, the idea is the dog is going to take off from our side. He'll be facing an original direction. He'll take off from that original direction and continue that line. So we're going to place our food bowl out away from the dog. Sit. We're going to utilize a little bit of our obedience to position the dog. Heel. Heel. Good. Sit. And we're going to position him so his spine is lined up with that bowl. And instead of saying our dog's name, we're going to use the word B-A-C-K. Back. Because that's the word that we're going to use later in the dog's life to line him on a blind retrieve. Sit. Now, the better he gets at food bowl lining, the further away that you can put the bowl. Eventually, the dog can be going up to 50, 60 yards if you do this outside. The most important part, though, is that he learns to line up in a direction, hear the word back, and take off and get success by going in that direction. He should already have a start with that. And we're going to continue on with teaching the dog to sit through our use of a leash and the treats. So we get our puppy moving around, and they know that you've got the treat. You're just going to raise up on the lead and raise the treat. Notice the angle that I'm holding these treats